Hello everyone, welcome to another video in the Deploying MindsDB series. In this video, we'll be deploying an instance of MindsDB using Oracle Cloud Instance. So let's get started. In order to complete this tutorial, you will be needing an Oracle Cloud account. So if you don't have an account yet, then you can simply visit www.oracle.com and you can sign up for a Oracle Cloud free trial. So what you'll be getting a 30 days free trial with 300 USD credits. So that should be enough to complete this tutorial. So once you have signed up for a free account, then you can simply log into the account and your dashboard opens up. Your dashboard should look something like this. Now we want to create a compute instance. So if you can see here, we have the instances for compute. So let's click on this one. So here sometimes the compartment field is empty. So if it is empty, then you will not see this create instance button. So if you find it empty here, so simply click on this field and then just choose the username. So once you have chosen the username, this button will appear for create instance. So now let's click on the create instance button and then the create compute instance page opens up. Here we need to provide the configurations for the instance that we are creating. So the first thing is the name. So I will change it to MindsDB demo, and then it is in the compartment that we selected in the previous page. For the placement, we don't really need to change anything. We will keep it at default. Then coming to the image and shape, we want to change things over here. So I will click on this edit. Now, first thing is the image. So let's change it to Ubuntu. So from here, we will choose this canonical Ubuntu and the version will be 22.04. It is the latest one, and the image build will let's choose the latest. It is already chosen the latest one. So we will say select image, and then for the shape, we will also change the shape. We will opt for a powerful machine. So let us go for this one, VM standard E2.8, and I will say select shape. So we have chosen the respective image and shape for the machine. Now in the networking part, we don't really want to change anything. One thing you should mark is that we are assigning a public IPv4 address, as we will need an IPv4 to access the MindsDB GUI at a later stage. So the networking section is good to go. And then we have the SSH key section. So we have 4 options available here. We can generate a key pair. We can upload a public key if we have in our local machine. We can also opt to paste a public key if we have in our machine, or we can opt for no SSH key. But without a SSH key, we will not be able to interact with the machine. So now what we will do is we will say you generate a key pair for me, and we will save the private key so that we can log into the system using this private key. So I will say save the key, and then coming down here, we don't want to the boot volume section. We don't want to specify a custom boot volume size. We will keep it at default, which is 46.6 gigs. Then the second one is use in transit encryption. So we can check this one, as we want the data in transit to be encrypted. And the third one is encrypt this volume. We don't need to check this one as well. So only we will check the in transit encryption in this complete section. So now let's have a look on what changes we did. So we just provided a name, and the compartment was selected already. Placement, we didn't touch anything. We changed the image and shape here. You can collapse this one now. And in networking also, we didn't do any change. In the SSH key, we said generate a key pair for me, and we saved the private key to a local machine. And then in the boot volume, we just enabled the in-transit encryption. So now we are good to create the machine. So I will hit on this create button now. So it took us to the instance details page. So now as you can see, the instance is provisioning. So let's wait for a while till the status turns into running. Okay, so the instance is up and running now. Now next, what we want to do is connect to this instance using the private key that we just downloaded. So let us open the terminal and then let us type in this command, which is ssh-i followed by the location of the private key and then the username. You can see the username is Ubuntu here, followed by the public IP address of the instance. Now let's hit enter. So it is asking whether you want to continue. We will type yes and we will hit enter once again. And now you can see we are logged into the instance. The username is Ubuntu and the instance name is mindsdb.demo. So the next thing we want to do is install Docker in the instance. So let's do that. And one thing to note here is we are not logged in as the root user. So for each and every command that we want to run, we have to add sudo before that. So it will be sudo apt-get install docker.io. Let's hit enter now. It is asking if we want to continue. I will type Y and then we'll hit enter again. So it will take a while to complete the installation. So Docker is installed now. The next thing we want to do is pull the latest stable release of MindsDB using Docker. So we'll do that by this command, sudo docker pull mindsdb/mindsdb, and we will hit enter. So this will take a while to pull the latest release of MindsDB and then extract it to the machine. So let's wait till the pull is complete. Okay, so the pull is complete now, and the next step will be to start running the MindsDB instance. So we can do that using Docker once again. Say sudo docker run followed by -p. So -p is for specifying the ports. So now we'll be exposing two ports, one on which the HTTP API will run for the MindsDB GUI, and the other one is for the MySQL API, which will be used for the data transactions. So we will specify the first port, which is 47334. This is for the HTTP API. And then we'll say -p once again. And we'll specify the other port, 47335. This is for the MySQL API. And then we'll say MindsDB. We want to run MindsDB. So the complete command looks something like this: sudo docker run -p 47334 47334, then -p 47335 47335 mindsdb/mindsdb. So now let's hit the enter. So this command takes a while to run, and in the console we will be getting messages like when the HTTP API, MySQL API and the MongoDB API are starting. And finally, when they have started, we will also get another message saying they have started on this port. So here, as you can see, the APIs are starting. We got that text, and then let's wait till you get the other one. So here, as you can see, the MongoDB API has started on this port, MySQL on this, and the HTTP API on this one. So now what we want to do is access the MindsDB GUI. So let's minimize this one, and then we'll copy this public IP. Then we'll open a new tab and we'll paste the IP, and then we'll say :47334 as this port is used for the GUI. Then we will hit enter. What? We are not able to access the GUI? But how is this possible? Did we do something wrong? Well, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure blocks all incoming traffic by default. So to access the GUI, we need to explicitly mention a firewall rule that will allow the incoming traffic to interact with the machine. So let's go back to the instance and then add a firewall rule. So let's just close this tab now, and then on this instance page, what we want to do is click on this subnet here. So it opens the subnet page. So we have a default security list. We haven't added any additional ones. So we will click on this default one. And here we will say add an ingress rule, as we want to add a rule for the incoming traffic. So we'll click on this one, and then we'll keep the stateless as unchecked. Then the source type will be CIDR, and for the source CIDR it will be 0.0.0.0/0. So what it means is that we want to allow all the IPv4 ranges to interact with the machine, and the protocol will be TCP, and source port range are all, and the destination port range will be 47334 and 47335. So these are the two ports on which we are allowing all the IPv4 traffic to interact with the machine. And then in the description we can say ingress rule for MindsDB. Then what we'll do is we'll say add the ingress rule. So now, as you can see, this rule is added to the default security list. Now let us go back to the instance, and now let us copy this public IP address once again and open a new tab, and finally try to access the GUI once again. Well, something is happening. It seems that the GUI is loading, and here is the MindsDB GUI. So it worked for us. Now coming to this GUI, you will be finding three main sections in the MindsDB Cloud Console. So the first one at the top is the query editor, where we can write the queries, something like this. And when we click on this run button after writing the query, the results are displayed in this bottom panel. So this is the result viewer. And towards the right, we have the Learning Hub resources. So if you are new to MindsDB, you can check these resources to have a good knowledge of MindsDB. Now the next thing we want to do is explore the default tables that are present in MindsDB when we launch the instance for the first time. So I have written the query for that, which is show tables. Now we'll run this query, and this returns a list of three tables which are present by default. So the first one is the predictors table. So this table contains all the predictor models that we train as an individual row record. And the second one is the predictors versions. So if you retrain a particular model due to data change, or if you want to change any model arguments, then versioning occurs for that model, and all the available versions for a particular model are stored in this table. And you will always have the ability to choose which version you want to use for a particular model and prediction. And the last one is the databases table. So this table stores a list of all the databases that are created and connected with the MindsDB instance. So there you go. We have successfully deployed an instance of MindsDB on an Oracle Cloud Compute instance. Time to summarize. Initially, we signed up for an Oracle Cloud account. Then we created an Oracle Compute instance. Then we installed Docker in the instance. Then we used Docker to install MindsDB. Finally, we explored the MindsDB GUI after adding a firewall rule. And then finally, we explored the default tables that are present in MindsDB when we launched the instance for the first time. So that's all for this video. I hope you had a great time watching this one. So drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and do share it with your friends. And before you leave, don't forget to drop a GitHub star on the GitHub repository of MindsDB. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.